what do you think about the grand jury impaneling for the grand conspiracy that's taking place right where you are right now, there in the Southern District of Florida? There is now a grand conspiracy that is going to span, I think, years in order to try and rig elections against President Trump, rig, obviously, lawfare against President Trump and yourself. And people are, it seems like they're quite nervous about this one, as we have been fed from some of the people inside of this process, teasing out like this is going to be the true main course for justice in Trump term 2. Your take, General?
Yeah. So for everybody, the conspiracy never stopped. So it wasn't like people go, there's an expiration of whatever crimes they committed back in Russiagate. That conspiracy continued, and that's what we're seeing with this grand jury down here in Florida, and the things that we're hearing. I mean, all the lawyers are all, like people are lawyering up, etc., as we have seen. So here's where I think we're at. I think into the new year here, we're going to probably see, if not a lot of subpoenas issued, we're going to see some indictments issued. I also think that the president, I think he'll talk about it tonight a little bit. I think he's going to talk about our elections and what has happened to our election system, because this is all part of the same conspiracy. If you start off with Russiagate as the beginning, right, in 2016, summer of 2016, even earlier than that now that we know, but summer of 2016, and then you continue to follow the conspiracy to basically undermine the Constitution of the United States of America and undermine a duly elected president during Trump's first term. That was sort of Russiagate. Then you had Impeachment-gate. Then you had the election. And I'm going to tell you, the rigged elections are very real. This is not conspiratorial. I think Trump is going to, he knows it, and we're going to see a lot more of that. So this conspiracy continued. And we just talked about the raid at Mar-a-Lago, Jack Smith, right? Geez, where'd that name go? Well, believe me, I'm part of a federal case against him. It's a civil case, but we are working with the Department of Justice on that one to turn it into a criminal case, which they should do. So this conspiracy continued. I think what we're going to find that these kinds of things take time if they're done properly. I know people are frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm not. But I will tell you the way that it needs to be done, by the book, legally and morally. And they are going to discover, because people will start to talk. Once subpoenas are issued, and there's been some issued, I understand, through the lawyer network, that people are going to start to talk. And I've been on your show before and mentioned a couple of names of those people that I think are going to be the easiest ones to talk first. Guys like Clapper, right, if he makes it to the next year. So I think it's good news. I think it's positive news. It's news that needs to come, and people are waiting for it. And I think those are the two areas that President Trump is going to have to deal with, and he has been, in his own way, in his own style, and that's accountability of these people that committed this conspiracy to undermine the Constitution of the United States of America. And the other is our elections, and making sure that our elections are fair. We have to get people will go vote if they believe that the elections are fair.
Yes.
And that's what has to happen. And people off-cycle elections like the midterms and all this kind of stuff, people have to go vote, and they will vote if they believe that there's been positive changes. And I know that President Trump, believe me, he's up to his eyeballs in that. I know that for a fact. And he's going to do all that he can to make sure that our elections are as fair as he can possibly make them. And it won't be easy, because there's going to be a lot of people who don't want them to be fair, fighting against him. And that's where the American people, your audience, has to stand our ground and say, this is what we demand.
General, do you mind a very quick follow-up to that? I know that you're on a tight timeline. Very quick follow-up. You talk about secure elections, and there's been some considerable reporting done about your role in 2024 and saving our elections from being stolen by digital and electronic voting, and some of the capacities through Venezuelan companies. And I think some of what's happening in Venezuela, frankly, ties back to this. We have some good sourcing on that. Yeah. But Venezuelan companies that can and do rig elections around the world through electronic voting, and that they can algorithmically just shift the votes. And it is a code, and it is an algorithm, and that they can deplete or increase based on the numbers and the pure margins, voting blocks across certain key counties and rig elections. Now, we've heard Tulsi Gabbard sort of tease this out, that there's a big report coming on this. And again, we've heard your name mentioned multiple times in our reporting about what truly happened in 2024 to save the election. So I just want to give you this big runway, since you mentioned it multiple times there in the last answer, to tell us, like, what was your role in saving the 2024 election? How do we fix this system?
Yeah, so a couple of things. Number one, our election system is all the above. It's mail-in voting, it's machinery, it's all of the different things. It's harvesting, it's all the different things that we know are just not part of a fair system. So it's not just one thing. It's not one thing. That's not what wins the day. What wins the day is is a system that people can trust and it's fair. Now, in terms of overseas interference, because you mentioned like Venezuela, there's all the noise about Serbia and servers and such like that. So what I can 100% guarantee, 100%, Penny, is that there was foreign interference of our elections, and it is very clear that it goes back to at least 2020, possibly goes back further than that. And that's why Venezuela is such a key component of this issue, because of what we know. And all that information came out right after the 2020 election, but nobody wanted to believe it. We didn't, we weren't able to be as clear as possible. So it's taken years and a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, and frankly, a lot, lives. It actually cost lives to get to where we're at. And so 100%, Benny, there is clear, unadulterated evidence that we had foreign interference in our elections. And I know that President Trump is very aware of that, and I'll leave it at that, because it's really now up to the president, and I believe he'll make the right decisions because he's got good people advising him on this. He'll make the right decisions about this. But when people see and hear how foreign entities and countries interfered in our elections to basically overthrow our country, but they did it in line with people here inside. That's what's even more egregious. And that's the one thing that for me personally is I don't fear China, I don't fear Russia, I don't fear Iran, I don't fear any of these over Venezuela, I don't fear any of these people. I've been there, done that. What I am most concerned about is the insidiousness of people inside of our own system, inside of our government, that are trying to work against our country. That's what I am most concerned about, and I know that President Trump is as well. So I'm very, very optimistic that he is being fed now the right information, and he will make the right decision.
What do you mean the decision? Like banning electronic voting, banning mail-in voting? I mean,
yeah, he's going to have to make some decisions about whether or not the U.S. Postal Service is involved in elections, which is unconstitutional as far as I'm concerned. It's an member of the executive branch. The machinery. If we discover that machines or any part of a machine is made overseas, or there are elements that are running through systems that are overseas, we can't have that. We just can't have that. And so, but yet we do. And he's going to get a lot of pushback particularly from blue states. We can already see some of it. So he may have to go to a place where we just ban all machinery, and we go to paper ballots. And we count paper ballots, which is not, even in this 21st century, that's not out of the question. I mean, it's not out of the question. And to do it properly, to do it correctly, to do it at precinct level. And that's why I've said, in the past, that probably the most important person on an election day is a precinct captain, even in a presidential election, because those are the people that have to hustle and they know what their jobs are. That's why I say local action. People got to get involved. There's so much that is at stake, and we cannot have an election system, particularly the machinery, that is made in another country or is capable of being subverted from overseas, which is what we learned.
Well, we look forward to that report. We hope that it comes before the 2026 midterm elections.
Yeah, same here.
Obviously, right? And we just wish you a Merry Christmas, General, and Godspeed. And thank you for fighting so hard for this nation, and for being such a profound guest on our program. The audience just absolutely loves you. And again, we always get inquiries from the New York Times and Mediaite and CNN whenever you're on. Did he really mean that? Can you believe it? Yes, we can. We can believe it. I know I said it last night on stage, but it's true. Yeah.
100%. Merry Christmas.
That's right. Make Gitmo full again. Thank you very much, General. Again, Merry Christmas. Godspeed.
God bless. Bye-bye.